Well, they will not let America fail and all the mistakes that people are making become a reality. It's all about bailing people out and coming up with new ideas on how we can have more debt. You know, let's carry more debt. I've just did a video not too long ago, a few days ago, about the rising credit card debt that people are putting themselves into. And now there's another thing coming up that's going to allow people to get more debt. And this has to do with tapping into your home equity. Now, you already can tap into home equity. The home equity line of credit has been around for many decades, and you can go and pull out more money from the home value that you have from the equity in your home, and it's a second mortgage. But this new change that might be coming up as early as this summer has to do with Freddie Mac buying up second mortgages. Now, what is this about? Because a lot of people say, hey, we already have second mortgages. I can go and get one from my local credit union or my local bank. Well, the thing is that the credit unions and the banks currently keep these in their own portfolio. So they only have so much money that they can lend out. And if they had access to sell these mortgages on the secondary mortgage market, just like they do with the first mortgages, then they would be able to lend more money out and allow more people to go and take home equity lines of credit out. I think it's bad enough on how much credit card debt we already have. I don't think the American people need to go and take out more debt against their home, or any kind of debt for that matter. But I guess the banks and the bankers want more. They're just not happy. I mean, they are pretty greedy, we gotta say. So what are they doing? They're trying to propose a way to allow more money to flow into the debt cycle of America. And this is consumer debt. You know, these are people. This isn't big corporations, because these are home equity lines of credit, which have specifically to do with, you know, people's primary residence. What a great way to go and eliminate everyone's ownership of homes. Let me give you the warning, but before I get into that, my name is Maciek Zaremba. I'm currently at Urfer Family Park in Sarasota, Florida. I love this place. This is such a nice place to come to. There's a child's playground, there's these walking paths. It's really a great place. I am a real estate agent. If you have any questions, give me a call, reach out to me. All my info is down below in the description. So let me give you the warning about what could transpire and why you really should not be going for this, okay? Now, if they pass this, then and it becomes a thing where Freddie Mac will be purchasing secondary mortgages and bundling them into bonds, well, they're gonna make a lot of money, and it's gonna be at the expense of us, the people who own homes. Here's something that could play out. You get a second mortgage. You know, let's just say, for example's sake, for this conversation, that your home is worth $500,000 and your mortgage currently is $200,000. So you have $300,000 of untapped equity. All that means is that you're not borrowing that money. It's just equity, is just value that you own. Well, if you go get an 80% total loan to value, then you're going to get an additional $200,000 home equity line of credit. Now, you have to be able to repay this. What happens if you don't? They take your home. What happens if you fall behind? Your credit gets bad and they take your home, so then you can't buy the next home. And here's a scenario that could be extremely bad for all the American people getting home equity lines of credit. So you go and get one. Now you have an additional $200,000, which is not locked into any interest rate like your first primary mortgage is. It's going to be floating adjustable rates. And what happens if we have more rate hikes? Now, the Fed is not saying we're going to have them, but you know, I'm just saying, what if we do? We weren't expecting to go from 3% to 7.5%, were we? Well, what if it goes from 7.5% to 14%? Then your payment on that debt, that $200,000, is going to make it unaffordable and probably cost prohibitive for you to pay it back, unless of course your job starts paying a lot more money. And what's the inevitable future of missing your payments after a while? Obviously, they're going to foreclose. So there will be people who get foreclosed on because they decided to borrow money against the home's equity, whether they did some improvements on the house, maybe paid off some of their credit card debt, which is obviously rising, or they just simply went on a couple of vacations and kept the cash in their pocket. I think if they go through with this, we're going to have more people tapping into home equity because it is a $1 trillion untapped market right now. And then a lot of those people, if we have interest rates go up, are going to default and they're going to be suffering. And they're basically going to get wiped where their equity in their home is going to be eaten up by the payments, eaten up by the credit card debt, and then next thing you know, they're just renters again. Now, there is one good thing about this, is that this is a good alternative in comparison to just doing a regular cash out refinance. You know, and the way that looks is if you have a $200,000 3% mortgage right now and you want to pull out an additional $200,000, it at least allows you to keep your original $200,000 3% mortgage and not have to worry that you're going to be paying the higher percentage on your original loan. So check this out. I'm pretty sure this right here is watermelon. I mean, as I just kind of walking, I kind of saw this. And is it just me or does this look like a watermelon? Little mini watermelon. Look, I'm a big proponent of the get rich slow game, not the get rich quick. A lot of people think they can pull out money and they can get rich quick, right? But the thing is, you're putting yourself at major risk. If you do have a $200,000 mortgage on a $500,000 home, I would just say keep it that way, because you're probably going to be able to make those payments even if you lose your job, because that's a pretty low payment considering what the alternative would be, which would be to rent or maybe even buying another house and paying the 7% rate. So do your best to just avoid pulling money out of your home equity line of credit. And there are some people where this really benefits them. These are people that are so well budgeted and they are so precise and such great stewards of their money that they're able to pull out a home equity line of credit, pay off any kind of debt that they have, and then pay off that home equity line of credit a lot faster than they would be able to with the regular credit card debt that they have. So continuing on the mindset of what we're talking about when it comes to getting rich slow, this next article talks a little bit about how long it's going to take for you to get rich if you invest into real estate. And it just starts off by saying that it could be as few as a couple of years and it could be as much as decades. Now, let me tell you just in general how to kind of look at this and how to calculate this. You know, the old saying in real estate is don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. So if you are able to purchase a property and put it up for rent, I highly recommend you do that, even if you lose $100 a month or $200 a month, because it's only going to take, you know, what, maybe 5 years max before you start turning a profit on that property. And if you go and leverage, right, let's just say you have a 10% down payment or 15% down payment on a single family home that you can rent out. Well, do it, even if you lose $100 or $200 a month, as long as you can upkeep those payments. There's going to be a couple things that happen. First of all, rents tend to go up over time. So that's going to offset that loss, and eventually that's going to turn you into profit. But then you compound that with one day interest rates will probably be lower than the 7.5%. And the reason that's true is because interest rates are cyclical. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. And right now we're in a higher rate environment. So if you're able to make a profit with today's higher rate environment, great. You're going to be able to refinance and lower that payment, but try not to pull any cash out if possible, because you want to get rich slow, not get rich quick. You want to take prudent steps and be safer in the way that you approach it, as opposed to just risking it all and maybe losing it all. But then you can add one more thing to the mix. You can start looking for owner finance properties. Now, you're not going to find these on the MLS. You're not going to find these in the newspaper. You're going to have to go and seek and search these out. There are people out there. There are retired landlords. There are tired landlords. There are estates. There are, you know, brothers that own a property together. And sometimes they want to continue having the residual income that the property brings, but they want to take away all the headaches of owning and managing a property. So that's where owner financing is a really great idea. And I've purchased a bunch of properties owner finance, and it served me very well because they do just go up in value over time. And I'm talking about time. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 years, you know, maybe a decade or two. And an owner finance deal, sometimes you can pick it up for fair market value. So you're not getting it like a big discount on it, but you are picking it up with no money out of pocket. That's possible, or very little money out of pocket. What you're doing is you're solving a problem for somebody. So go out there and start searching for these people that are willing to sell. How do you find them? There's many strategies. One of the strategies is going to find people that have owned a home for over 10 years. So you know they have a bunch of equity in it, and cross-referencing that with vacancies or code enforcement notices or evictions or some other distressed type of signal, and then reaching out to these people on a regular basis. Once you reach someone, put them on a quarterly callback, and basically you create a system where you start dialing for dollars. You're calling people, just trying to find someone that will sell it to you either at a discount or at fair market value, and they're willing to offer flexible financing, because the usual trade-off is very simple. If you purchase something at full price fair market value in a market that's not moving very fast, like right now, well, then you're going to ask something in return, and that would be the owner financing component. Now, if they're not willing to owner finance you, that just might not be the right seller for you. That's all. I have lots of strategies on how to do this, and it does take a lot of work. No one's going to do this work for you. So if you want to learn about that, just reach out to me.